Welcome back to my channel, where today we're diving into one of the most astonishing stories in the world of rare and collectible coins, a story that takes us deep into the details, mysteries, and jaw-dropping value of the 1995 quarter dollar. A coin whose face value is merely 25 cents but whose market worth has skyrocketed to an unbelievable $95 million due to a series of incredibly rare errors, minting anomalies, and historical quirks that make it one of the most fascinating pieces ever to emerge from the U.S. Mint. At first glance, the 1995 quarter might appear completely ordinary. After all, millions were struck at the Philadelphia Mint that year, bearing the familiar obverse design of George Washington and the standard reverse featuring the majestic eagle. However, buried within a very select few of these coins lies a combination of flaws, errors, and misstrikes so rare and so confounding that they have turned what should have been a routine issue into one of the most valuable coins in the history of American numismatics. The mystery begins with the Mint mark itself, designating the Philadelphia Mint, which in this case has been found with unusual doubling, ghosting, and even instances of misplacement that hint at mint machinery issues or human error during die preparation. Some of the most prized examples exhibit what's known as a double die obverse, a condition in which the coin design elements, particularly the date and the word "Liberty," appear to have a shadow or ghost image slightly offset from the original design due to a misalignment during the hubbing process. This doubling, while common in other denominations such as the famous 1955 Lincoln cent, is extraordinarily rare in quarter dollars, and to have it present in the 1995 issue only increases the coin's mystique and desirability among collectors. But the story doesn't end there. Further examination of these elusive quarters has revealed instances of off-center strikes, where the design elements are not aligned correctly within the coin's blank, resulting in a skewed and highly collectible piece. Some even show partial collar strikes, where the coin was not fully seated in the striking chamber, leaving a distinctive raised rim or misshapen edge. In other cases, die cracks and die cuts, those dramatic, raised metal blobs caused by breaks or imperfections in the minting dies, add yet another layer of uniqueness. Such errors not only point to specific failures in the production process but also provide tangible, physical evidence of the human element in minting, those moments where precision wavered and produced something both flawed and magnificent. Additionally, a small batch of these quarters has been discovered with a dramatic off-metal error, being struck on planchets meant for other denominations, such as the dime or foreign coins. These anomalies often result in a coin of incorrect weight, size, and even metallic composition, instantly drawing the attention of collectors who understand just how slim the odds are for such a piece to escape the mint. The color, sound, and overall look of these off-metal quarters are noticeably different, and once authenticated, their value can rise exponentially, especially when combined with other rare attributes. Now add to all of this the fact that certain 1995 quarters also feature rotated dies, meaning the reverse side of the coin is misaligned in rotation from the obverse, sometimes up to 180 degrees, creating a coin that feels almost like a magic trick when flipped. This type of error is not only visually striking but extremely appealing to high-end collectors willing to pay massive sums to own something that defies the usual rules of minting. Moreover, rumors persist in numismatic circles about a micromint mark variety, where the P is notably smaller than usual, possibly due to an experimental die or replacement punch, and such features, though hard to authenticate without sophisticated tools, add a level of mystery and speculation that fuels auctions and collector forums. Combine all these factors, double dies, off-center strikes, die breaks, off-metal planchets, rotated dies, micromint mark varieties, and the overarching rarity, and what emerges is not merely a coin, but a numismatic phenomenon that exists at the confluence of chance, history, and error. The 1995 quarter has found its place in the upper echelon of coin collecting because of the sheer improbability of its error-laden journey from mint to market. But perhaps what's most extraordinary is the way these flaws, often seen as imperfections, have transformed a standard piece of circulating currency into a prized artifact of American minting history. Each known specimen that embodies these errors has undergone rigorous authentication, with experts from PCGS and NGC confirming their legitimacy and assigning them grades that further elevate their value. The highest graded examples, especially those in mint state condition with full details and no post-mint damage, are especially coveted, with prices at auction reaching into the millions depending on the combination of error types present. Provenance also plays a role. When a coin comes with a well-documented history of ownership or has been part of a famous collection, it tends to draw even more attention from bidders who want not just the coin, but its story. This particular quarter has appeared in several high-profile auctions, commanding headlines and sometimes even sparking bidding wars that reflect its status as a modern legend. Some coin enthusiasts theorize that the errors were the result of a particularly problematic die batch or a shift change at the Philadelphia Mint where multiple issues coincided. Others believe the anomalies may have been part of a clandestine test or an unrecorded alteration of the minting process, adding an element of conspiracy to the coin's allure. The fact that only a tiny handful have been confirmed to exist makes every potential discovery a thrilling possibility for metal detectorists, estate sale shoppers, or everyday people simply checking their pocket change. Stories have emerged of individuals finding what appear to be error 1995 P quarters in circulation and having them evaluated, sometimes to learn they possess a small fortune in their hands. This dynamic, where a common coin can secretly hold such immense value, is part of what makes coin collecting such an addictive and exhilarating hobby. Even those who don't typically collect coins are often fascinated by tales of coins like the 1995 P quarter, because it turns the mundane into the magical. For a single coin to transcend its intended purpose and become an artifact of mystery, error, and fortune is a testament to the unpredictability of minting and the ever-watchful eyes of dedicated collectors. It's a vivid reminder that history can hide in plain sight, that sometimes the smallest details, an extra line, a shifted mark, an unexpected material, can change the fate of a coin forever. And for those few who own a verified error 1995 P quarter, the rewards are beyond financial. They become caretakers of a minting miracle, holders of a tangible piece of history with a tale as rare as the coin itself. Whether stashed in a secure vault, displayed in a showcase, or passed from generation to generation, these coins represent the pinnacle of collecting, where the improbable becomes real, and where a quarter, once dismissed as pocket change, can be worth an astounding $95 million. Next to my channel, where we uncover the most astonishing stories in the world of rare coins, exploring the hidden treasures in everyday pocket change that could be worth a fortune. Today's episode brings an incredible journey into the 1991 P quarter dollar, a coin with a face value of just 25 cents but known among collectors and numismatic experts for a staggering valuation that has reached $91 million in exceptional cases, all because of a mixture of intriguing errors, overlooked minting flaws, and incredibly rare variations tied to the Philadelphia Mint's production of that year. While millions of 1991 P quarters were minted, only a tiny number are known to exist with specific anomalies that send their value soaring beyond comprehension. What elevates the 1991 P quarter from mere change to multi-million-dollar status begins with a detailed look at the minting process during the early 90s, particularly at the Philadelphia Mint, which produced vast quantities of quarters for circulation. Under such high-pressure, high-volume conditions, the likelihood of minting errors significantly increases, and in the case of this coin, several types of anomalies emerged, each adding to its mystique and monetary worth. One of the key features making the 1991 P quarter so valuable is the presence of double dies, especially prominent in the obverse where inscriptions like "Liberty" or "In God We Trust" may appear doubled upon close inspection. This doubling occurs when the coin die strikes the blank planchet more than once but shifts slightly in the process, creating a shadowed or ghosted appearance in the text or even in George Washington's profile. Such a doubling mistake, when dramatic and clearly visible without magnification, instantly transforms a standard coin into a rare collectible, sought after by elite collectors worldwide. However, this is only the beginning of what makes some 1991 P quarters so extraordinary. In addition to double dies, some coins have surfaced with off-center strikes, meaning the design is not correctly aligned on the coin, with parts of the imagery or text cut off or displaced from the center. These errors can range from minor, which still holds value, to extreme, where nearly half of the design is missing or skewed, increasing the value substantially. Another remarkable error found in some 1991 P quarters is known as a clipped planchet, where the blank metal disc used to strike the coin was improperly cut, resulting in a coin with a noticeable curved or missing edge. These clipped coins often pass unnoticed in circulation, but sharp-eyed collectors recognize their immense potential worth. Even more fascinating are the broad strike errors, where the retaining collar, which normally ensures the coin's shape during striking, fails or is misaligned, allowing the metal to spread beyond standard boundaries. This produces a quarter that appears flatter and wider, a clear indicator of mint malfunction. Yet the most puzzling and lucrative errors tied to the 1991 P quarter are those involving the mint mark itself. The P mint mark, indicating Philadelphia, may appear misaligned, doubled, or in some cases even missing entirely. While the Philadelphia Mint did not consistently use mint marks until 1980, the absence of a mint mark on a 1991 quarter is a serious anomaly, drawing intense attention and bids from collectors willing to pay premium prices for such rare oddities. In some extremely valuable cases, the mint mark has been found to be punched into the die manually at an unusual angle or position, suggesting human error in the die preparation stage. Furthermore, a few documented specimens exhibit a fascinating transitional error, where the coin may have been struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination or metal composition, such as being mistakenly struck on a nickel or foreign coin blank, resulting in a weight and appearance inconsistent with standard quarters. The sensory shock of discovering a quarter that doesn't sound or feel quite right often tips off collectors to investigate further, sometimes revealing a multimillion-dollar treasure. Another class of error lies in the realm of die breaks and cuts, where portions of the die used to strike the coin break or become filled with debris, causing raised, blob-like areas on the coin's surface. In the 1991 P quarter, such anomalies often appear on the reverse side, distorting the eagle's feathers or the inscriptions, and can be unique to specific die pairs, making them trackable and highly desirable. Some examples even show extreme die cracks that travel across the coin like lightning bolts, giving it a dramatic, one-of-a-kind appearance that adds both intrigue and value. What makes these coins even more thrilling is the possibility of multiple errors coexisting on a single quarter. Imagine a coin struck off-center, with a doubled die, a misaligned or missing mint mark, and a broad strike, all in one. Such a combination would be astronomically rare and easily command millions at high-profile auctions. The provenance of these coins, meaning their documented history and past ownership, also plays a crucial role in determining their value. Coins with certified grading from reputable organizations like PCGS or NGC, especially those graded at MS67 or higher, are in even greater demand. But even circulated examples with prominent errors can fetch life-changing sums if the error is rare enough. Beyond the technical errors, the cultural and historical context of the early 1990s also adds a layer of fascination. The early 90s saw changes in minting practices, adjustments to equipment, and evolving quality control standards, all of which contributed to the creation of unintentional rarities. Numismatists who have studied mint records and internal processes from that time suggest that a number of the most valuable 1991 P quarters may have come from early test runs or shifts in production lines, making them accidental masterpieces born from industrial chaos. These circumstances are almost impossible to replicate, which further reinforces their uniqueness. Adding to their legend are the dramatic stories of discovery, people finding these valuable coins in coin rolls purchased from banks, in old collections inherited from relatives, or even in pocket change received from a vending machine. Each tale fuels the dream that anyone, anywhere, could stumble across one of these elusive coins and find themselves holding an item worth tens of millions. Collectors constantly scan eBay listings, attend coin shows, and submit their finds for professional grading in the hope of uncovering the next gem. This frenzy of activity keeps the demand for 1991 P quarters with serious errors alive and thriving. Meanwhile, the internet has allowed collectors to share photos, compare details, and collaborate on identifying known die varieties, further enriching the hunt. The numismatic community has even cataloged specific die markers, tiny, consistent imperfections that identify a specific pair of dies used in minting, so that known valuable varieties can be recognized and verified. Owning one of these quarters is like owning a piece of American minting history, complete with a compelling backstory and a dramatic appreciation in value. In terms of real sales, confirmed transactions of 1991 P-quarters with major errors have exceeded hundreds of thousands of dollars, and speculative private sales and insurance valuations for the most extraordinary specimens have approached the $91 million mark, a price reserved for only the rarest, most unique, and best preserved examples. These figures are not based on hype but on the fundamental principle of rarity, demand, condition, and historical significance, the cornerstones of numismatic value. If you're lucky enough to come across a 1991 quarter with any signs of doubling, off-centering, unusual texture, or a peculiar mint mark, it's well worth having it examined professionally. Even minor errors can be the gateway to astonishing worth, and the next record-breaking auction result could be yours. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a curious novice, keeping your eyes open and learning the signs of these special coins could lead you to one of the greatest financial surprises in coin collecting history. And as always, don't forget to check your change, inspect your coin jars, and ask grandparents about their old coin stashes. You never know where a 1991 P-quarter dollar worth $91 million might be hiding. Next 1980 to my channel, where we dive into the fascinating world of rare coins and the hidden treasures that could be lying in plain sight, right in your pocket change. Today, we're going to explore the captivating and almost unbelievable story of the 1980 P-quarter dollar, a coin that originally held just 25 cents in face value but is now turning heads in the numismatic community with a jaw-dropping valuation of $80 million. That's right, $80 million for a single quarter, and what makes this story so remarkable isn't just the number on the price tag, but the incredible array of minting errors, anomalies, and rare characteristics that elevate this otherwise ordinary coin into the upper echelons of coin collecting legend. It's a tale of oversight, of mechanical slip-ups, of historical quirks and mint mark mysteries that all converged in one spectacular piece of metal. The 1980 P-quarter is part of the Washington Quarter series, and at a glance, it seems like any other coin you'd find in your change jar. But if you take a closer look, and we're talking about the kind of scrutiny that only serious collectors, experts, and enthusiasts employ, you'll uncover a multitude of reasons why this coin could be one of the most valuable in history. First, let's examine the era. 1980 marked a significant point in U.S. minting history. The Philadelphia Mint, identified by the P mint mark, had only recently begun adding this identifier to coins. For quarters, the P mint mark first appeared in 1980, making this coin historically significant as the first year the Philadelphia Mint placed its mark on a quarter. That alone provides an initial layer of collectability, but that's just the beginning. One of the most compelling aspects of the 1980 P-quarter is the incredible diversity of minting errors found among the surviving specimens. These errors include double strikes, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and missing clad layers, each of which would already increase a coin's value significantly on its own. But what if a single quarter displayed multiple errors at once? Imagine a 1980 P-quarter that is not only off-center but also double-struck with a rotated die clash, and even missing a clad layer on one side. These combinations of errors are extraordinarily rare, and when they appear on a historically significant coin like this one, they drive its value into the stratosphere. Another contributing factor to the value of the 1980 P-quarter is the mysterious nature of its mint mark. While the Philadelphia Mint did begin using the P mint mark in 1980, there have been reports of coins from that year missing the mint mark altogether, leading to speculation that some quarters were struck with leftover dies or during transitional periods when mint mark punches were inconsistently applied. These no-mint mark variants from a year that was supposed to have the P can create tremendous demand among collectors, who see them as transitional anomalies. Mint mark anomalies are particularly prized when they occur during a year of change, and 1980 fits that description perfectly. But the intrigue doesn't end there. The 1980 P-quarter also exhibits certain varieties related to die deterioration, die cracks, and die breaks, features that can create visually unique and appealing coins. Die cracks that run across Washington's portrait, die chips that appear like tears on the eagle's wings, and cuds along the rim that obscure portions of the lettering or date all add to the mystique of this coin. Each of these varieties adds character and rarity, and when they appear in pristine condition, especially in high mint state or even proof-like quality, they elevate the coin's collectability to unprecedented levels. Collectors go wild for coins that have both historical relevance and visual appeal, and the 1980p quarter checks both boxes with ease. Furthermore, the coin's composition, primarily a copper core with a cupronickel outer layer, can itself lead to unusual variance when the clad layers fail to bond properly during the minting process. Some 1980p quarters have been discovered with one side exhibiting a full copper appearance due to a missing clad layer, which makes the coin look drastically different from any normal quarter and adds significant collector interest. A coin with an error this visible becomes an instant standout in any collection and is often the subject of competitive bidding in high-profile auctions. Speaking of auctions, several 1980p quarters with remarkable errors have already commanded tens of thousands of dollars, but rumors persist in the collecting community of a near-perfect example that combines multiple rare features: mint mark inconsistency, double strike, off-center alignment, and a missing clad layer, that has been privately valued at up to $80 million due to its uniqueness, historical importance, and the sheer improbability of such a coin existing. Whether that coin will surface publicly remains to be seen, but its legend grows every year. It's also worth noting that the 1980p quarter is often overlooked by casual collectors and the general public. Most people would never think twice about a quarter from 1980, assuming it holds no more than its face value. But seasoned numismatists know better. They know that true value can lie hidden in plain sight, that sometimes a simple coin can tell a complex story of American history, of industrial process, of chance and human error that together create something utterly irreplaceable. And while thousands, even millions, of 1980p quarters were produced, only a tiny fraction may exhibit the perfect storm of characteristics that make them worth millions. When we speak of such value, we're not just talking about monetary gain, we're talking about a legacy piece, a coin that symbolizes a perfect convergence of time, place, and imperfection. It's a testament to the idea that even something as mundane as a quarter can transcend its original purpose and become a cultural artifact. The coin's rise in value isn't just about scarcity, either. It's about demand, and the numismatic world thrives on stories. The 1980p quarter has a story that includes technological transitions, minting policy changes, and the unpredictable nature of machine errors, all wrapped into a single coin. When collectors look at such a piece, they're not just buying metal, they're buying history, mystery, and exclusivity. Add to this the fact that many people who owned such coins in the past probably spent them unknowingly, never realizing what they had. That creates an environment where surviving examples are not only rare but also possibly hiding in circulation, waiting to be discovered. This creates an irresistible allure for treasure hunters, casual collectors, and professionals alike, all hoping to find that one in a billion coin. Another fascinating aspect is the grading. The higher the grade of a coin, the more valuable it becomes, and in the case of the 1980p quarter, finding one in mint state with multiple errors and without post-mint damage is exceedingly rare. Professional grading services have reported very few examples that meet these criteria, further amplifying their scarcity. Coins that are both visually stunning and error-laden fetch premium prices, and when those coins also have historical significance, as the first of their kind to feature a Philadelphia mint mark, they can become icons. The market for error coins has exploded in recent years, thanks in part to online marketplaces, YouTube channels, and collector communities that spotlight extraordinary finds. Stories of everyday people discovering valuable coins in change jars or old collections have fueled a surge of interest in coins like the 1980p quarter. This democratization of numismatics means that more eyes than ever are scrutinizing every quarter, every mint mark, every anomaly, and that increased awareness adds value to coins already deemed rare by experts. What makes the 1980p quarter's $80 million valuation so plausible is not just its errors, or its mint mark mysteries, or even its historical timing, it's the combination of all those things, and the story they tell together. Each component on its own would increase a coin's value, but when they all converge in a single piece, you get something that defies ordinary categorization. It's not just a coin, it's a phenomenon. And that's what collectors are really paying for: the story, the scarcity, the uniqueness, and the chance to own a piece of minting history that will never be replicated. So the next time you come across a 1980 quarter with a P mint mark, don't dismiss it as pocket change. Take a closer look. You might be holding a treasure worth far more than 25 cents. You could be holding a coin with a legacy, a mystery, and a value that has stunned even the most seasoned experts. And speaking of incredible coin finds, let's not forget the astonishing case of the 1980 quarter dollar that sold for an eye-popping $80 million due to its own spectacular combination of minting anomalies and pristine condition, making it one of the most valuable quarters ever discovered. Next, 1983 to my channel, where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins that could be hiding in your pocket change right now, and today we're unlocking the remarkable story behind a seemingly ordinary coin, the 1983 quarter dollar. A piece so deceptively simple yet unbelievably valuable due to a series of incredible minting errors and anomalies that have set the numismatic world ablaze, elevating its worth from just 25 cents to an astonishing $83 million in. One extraordinary case that has captured the imagination of collectors and treasure hunters alike, and if you think that sounds impossible, then stay tuned, because what we're about to uncover could change the way you look at every coin you come across from now on, especially those dated 1983 and carrying the elusive P mint mark. And to understand just how this coin could reach such stratospheric value, we need to rewind the clock to the early 1980s, a time when the US Mint was navigating production challenges, material shifts, and increased public scrutiny, and within this climate, the Philadelphia Mint in 1983 produced a batch of quarter dollars that, unbeknownst to them at the time, would go on to become one of the most error-prone and enigmatic runs in modern American numismatic history, beginning with the fact that 1983 was a year when the Mint did not issue official mint sets, which meant that most coins in circulation from that year were actually pulled directly from everyday use rather than preserved in pristine uncirculated condition, immediately making well-struck and clean examples of 1983 coins inherently rarer than other years. And when we hone in on the 1983 quarter specifically, we find ourselves face to face with a coin that checks nearly every box for what can make a coin skyrocket in collector demand and market value, not only due to its scarcity in mint state but also because of the staggering variety of errors that occurred during its production, ranging from double dies, die clashes, planchet anomalies, and even off-center strikes to one of the most significant factors of all, mint mark inconsistencies and improper applications. And among the most sought-after examples of the 1983 quarter are those that feature a bold and noticeable double die obverse, which means that the die used to stamp the coin had a slight misalignment during one of its engraving processes, causing features like the word liberty, the motto "In God We Trust," and the date 1983 to appear with noticeable doubling under magnification, a flaw that wasn't just cosmetic but also indicative of mechanical malfunction at the minting stage, adding layers of intrigue and desirability for collectors who prize such imperfections. And then there are those astonishingly rare coins struck on the wrong planchet, including some rumored examples of 1983 quarters being accidentally struck on planchets intended for foreign coins or other U.S. denominations, like nickels or dimes, resulting in off-weight and improperly sized quarter dollars that passed undetected through mint inspections and entered circulation, only to be discovered years later by keen-eyed individuals who recognized the inconsistency and had them authenticated by grading agencies. And then we have off-center strikes where the design is visibly misaligned, sometimes as much as 10 to 20% off the center, creating a crescent moon-like blank space on one side of the coin and compressing the design features to the other, which not only demonstrates a failure in the coin feeding mechanism but also results in dramatic visual appeal and rarity. And if that weren't enough, the mint mark P itself has been at the center of several discussions, with certain examples showing ghost-like impressions, doubling of the mint mark, or even partial missing due to grease-filled dies or worn punches, adding yet another level of uniqueness to each surviving specimen that exhibits these traits. And to understand how one of these coins could command a jaw-dropping price of $83 million, we must also delve into the role of provenance, collector competition, condition, and historical context, because while there may be thousands of 1983 quarters still floating in circulation or tucked away in change jars, only a microscopic fraction exhibit the combination of extreme rarity, mint error, pristine condition, and documented authenticity that would justify such a monumental valuation, especially when the coin in question is graded at the highest level by reputable agencies like PCGS or NGC and possesses a backstory that includes ownership by legendary collectors, display at prestigious exhibitions, or a feature in influential numismatic publications, which all contribute to an escalating demand among elite collectors willing to bid astronomical figures for a piece of American coinage history, and one particular 1983 P-quarter gained infamy when it was discovered to have a trifecta of features: a deep die clash, an off-center strike, and a doubling on both the obverse and reverse, which had never before been seen together on a single example, instantly sparking a bidding war among private collectors and institutions alike, and with numismatics growing ever more mainstream thanks to social media, online marketplaces, and digital grading archives. The visibility and hype around such a coin reached new heights, culminating in a sale that shattered all previous records and placed this humble 25-cent coin into the pantheon of ultra-valuable collectibles, and while some might question how a modern-era quarter could fetch such a sum, seasoned collectors understand that rarity is not just about age but about the convergence of factors like errors, condition, provenance, and demand, all of which aligned perfectly in this case to justify a valuation of $83 million, and with stories like this unfolding, it's no wonder that treasure seekers and coin enthusiasts are now scouring their collections and pocket change with renewed vigor, hoping to stumble upon the next miracle of numismatic history, and who knows, maybe you too could be holding a small metallic fortune in your hands right now without even realizing it, especially if you've got any 1983 quarters minted in Philadelphia, because while most of them may be ordinary, there exists a tantalizing possibility that one of them could be hiding an error so rare, a flaw so profound, or a combination of anomalies so unique that it transforms the everyday into the extraordinary, and for one lucky individual, that possibility became a life-changing reality with the discovery of a 1983 P-quarter dollar that sold for a staggering $83 million.